I wanted to make this quick video to talk about how we use the block bindings API, attributes, and meta keys, all of which are available now in core WordPress, to customize templates in EventKoi. So here we are in the dashboard, and if you go to Appearance and Editor, so you want to go into Templates. These are all the various templates you have in the theme as well as a bunch of other stuff. So you can actually either look for it here, or if it feels kind of overwhelming for you, just click on EventKoi and that will pull up the templates that EventKoi as a plugin has made for you. So here you'll be able to see two templates that we've created. One is the event template and one is the event series template. So let's go into the event template. So when you go into this, you are going to see a whole bunch of meta keys which look like this. You can kind of think of them as shortcodes, like you just type it out and it displays the content on the front end. You can also think of it as merge tags if you're familiar with MailChimp. Like very traditionally you might type something like first name and then it shows the person's actual name in the email. Or as I mentioned with shortcodes, you type in the shortcode and then it displays the content on the front end. So that's similar to how meta keys work. Now, let me show you how to match up events from inside EventKoi with the event template that I was just talking about. Okay, so now we can kind of match, right? So we see all events in event calendar link, and then the event calendar link is here. And we've got event title and classical concert in the park, add to calendar, share. We've got the date and time. So all of that kind of shows up. So now let me give you an example of what happens if we change things around. So let's say now I want to push, oh, and I forgot, the image as well is connected. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a heading block. And then I'm going to say event title here. And then I'll move this here. And then I'm going to just delete this one. Okay, so what I want now is my image to show up on top of my header and then my event details below it, which I'm happy with. And let's just make this bigger, make it bold. Yeah, let's say I'm more or less happy with how that looks. I'm going to save it. So this is how it looks like before with the heading on the top and the image on the bottom. So if I refresh, now you'll see that the image is on the top and the heading is on the bottom. So that's just kind of an example of what you can do with the template. Obviously, because everything is, you can drag and drop everything anywhere, you have unlimited options, basically. Before we finish this video, I wanted to dive one level deeper to answer some questions that you might have as you're trying to wrap your head around customizing event templates. So if you look here, you can see that this block is outlined in purple and this block is outlined in blue. So what's the difference? This block is added directly from the admin panel over here, and it's attributes, and we added it. So let me show you how you can do that. So let's go to attributes, click on content, and let's add the event location this time. So if we add event location, you'll see that this time it's in purple. So if we save this, and let's just look at how it looks. So you can see here that the location is added now on top of the event details. With the meta keys, one great advantage that it has is that you can format or style it. So for example, let's say with the event location, I want to make it purple and I want to give it a tiny size. So let's save that and see how it's reflected on the front end. Great, so my location is now much smaller than the event details and it's purple. So now you're wondering what's the difference between the adding it from the right-hand panel versus just typing it out. And the main difference is that when I've added it via the panel, you can see that I can't type any additional things. Whereas in this case, I was able to type event title, and then I wrote today's event in front of it, and so that gives me a lot more flexibility. Okay, so now you must be wondering if, in this case, I'm typing out the event title versus just relying on the attributes panel, where am I going to get the meta keys from? For that, you can go to EventKoi docs and click on complete list of meta keys, which I have loaded up here already. So here are all the available meta keys, which you can copy and paste into any of your templates. The last thing that I wanted to mention about meta keys, at the risk of overcomplicating things, is if you create your own template. So you'll see here, this is a completely blank template, and on the right-hand side, there isn't the attributes panel anymore. So when you create a template by yourself, the attributes panel section is not there because this template is not linked to EventKoi. Now, this is the important part. When you create the template yourself, you can still use the meta keys. So I can still type event title and it will still work. It's just that you don't have the user interface here on the right to just click and have it inserted by itself. So that's one of the benefits of getting familiar with just being able to type it out, is because when you do custom templates, it's not going to be here. And then also, as I mentioned, you can't add additional detail. And the very last thing, let's head back to our template over here. The very last thing is that I want to show you the difference between using meta keys and shortcodes. So with meta keys, if you remember, we've added the event location meta key, we've made it smaller text, and we've changed the color to purple. So what happens if we add a shortcode? So if we go to our shortcode list, here it is, and let's copy this shortcode. Actually, let's do event title. Okay, so let's add the shortcode in. We don't need the ID because this is a template. And let's try to make it bold and make this yellow. So let's see if those formatting changes will be reflected on the front end. Let's save it, refresh. Okay, and you can see here that the shortcode was not reflected. So what it used was basically, this was a paragraph block, and so it just used the paragraph styling. And that's the big difference between using shortcodes versus meta keys. Shortcodes, the styling doesn't get reflected in the front end, whereas with meta keys, it does. So in general, if you have a block theme and you are messing around in the template to customize your event, I recommend using meta keys instead of shortcodes for this reason. And that's it. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions or if you have any ideas of how we can further improve these features, please get in touch and let me know.